Hello everybody, Flying Scotsman 4472 back again with another review. And today's review is on another Thomas & Friends push-along item, Henry. Henry is in the new packaging, as you saw with my James review. That was the old TrackMaster packaging. I'm pretty sure this is the new one, so here it is. So it's just got Thomas & Friends and then Henry. It's got rivets right there. Got Henry right up there in his old model. Got metal engine. Pretty nice packaging, actually. It's really nice and colorful and bright. There's just some legal garb on the back. But pretty nice packaging. Really colorful. So let's get it out and see Henry. Alright, here is Henry. So first we're going to do a little in-hand look. Alright, so let's start with this. So this is actually in my opinion, not bad. So let's first look at the tender. It's a fully plastic tender, just like the push-along James and my Adventure Shane, but it does have some nice decal printing. It is the correct shape, unlike the Adventures version of him, which had an incorrect tender. It does have some nice detail. It's got the coal. Buffers are on the incorrect side, and that seems to be a common problem with these push-along models. It's got the giant wheels. It's a tiny little one, but yeah. So yeah, not a bad model though. And now let's get on to Henry. Actually, give me a second, guys. Alrighty, we're back. Sorry if the lighting looks a bit different. Things went wrong, but either way, here is Henry. Here's the tender. So yeah, not a bad tender. It's just really light. It's too short and really should have been longer. And also should have had smaller wheels. But yeah, and there's a little gray coupling. Not too bad though. And it is correct shape compared to the Adventures version. And now here is the main reason, Henry. So first thing that I'm noticing, I don't know if this appears to just be a camera problem, but the wheels look like a different color to the paint, because if I look at it, yeah, that appears to just be a problem with the paint, but at least on camera, but it's not terrible. It doesn't have painted buffers, no white running board, but that's normal for these. It's got the molded coupling back there. It does have some nice detail though. It's got all the right lining. It's got handrails. It's got a little painted whistle. His face is actually really nice in my opinion. I think that is a pretty good Henry face, especially if we can compare it to the one on the packaging. Sorry. Like, that's a pretty good Henry face in my opinion. Those look very similar. So yeah, not a bad Henry face, and it's got some nice running board detailing. He's got his pistons right there. He does have the cutoff, like in his real TV show model. So yeah, not actually a bad model. Does have Henry on the bottom. So yeah, not a bad looking version of Henry. I do like how he is a bit thicker like his boiler's a bit thicker to differentiate him from an engine like James, who we're gonna compare him to. But yeah, I also think his body isn't actually that bad looking. I think if it had a better wheel arrangement, he would actually look pretty good. But yeah, so either way, let's compare him to James. Put my camera down a bit. So, as you can see here, they both are the same length, if I can get them lined up. Yeah, they're both the same length. However, James is a lot thinner, his boiler is a lot thinner, his firebox, his face, where Henry's is a lot thicker to sort of differentiate him from James and make him look a bit bigger, which I think it does do pretty well, except James just looks way too long, and I really think that they should have put him on a tank engine chassis. But let's compare the tenders first. There we go. Not terrible. I think that it's nice that they actually made his tender correct this time. It also seems like James's tender is a bit thinner. No, never mind. But yeah, pretty good. And then comparing the two engines, they are the same length, but in my opinion, Henry just looks better because he's a bit thicker. It makes him look a bit bigger, and it just fills out the body a lot more compared to James, which, because he's already a thin engine, making him longer just makes him look way thinner than he should. I also think that Henry's face looks closer to his CGI model than James, but both of these faces are actually really good. I also like the more detail on his running board than James. But yeah, they both have no details, and his has a little indent, like he actually should, where James, this whole piece should be indented, but they didn't do that. And unlike James, his whistle is actually 3D molded, where James is just a piece of paint. Very interesting, actually. That's more detail. And then his wheel arches are just spaced where they should be on his model, but James are spaced where the wheels are, so a bit different there. Yeah, sorry. Little hair. Did I even get the hair off? This is where I should clean my engines. Either way, yeah, I definitely think I prefer Henry to James. James just looks way too thin, in my opinion. I don't think he looks long enough, or I don't think he looks thick enough to be that length, and I actually think he's too long. I think he should be thinner. But yeah, in terms of Henry, though, I think this is actually not a bad model. At least in terms of push-along, it's not terrible. It's got a decent amount of detail. Yeah, I think it's a decent push-along model. And I mean, it's no Ertl. We'll never get Ertl again. But I do think that this is one of the better models, which is kind of hilarious because he's not even in the Steam team anymore, and yet he's still got the better model than one of the Steam team characters. But yeah, I actually think that only a few improvements are needed to really make this at least a decent toy, which are change the wheelbase to have his correct 460 wheelbase, and then use smaller wheels on the tender, and then paint the buffers black. I think that's all you really need to make this look at least a little bit better and heighten it more than something like, I don't know, the Wooden Railway Line or whatever, or Thomas Wood. And I do plan to get the Thomas Wood version of this to compare it to the 2013 version. But yeah, this is actually not a bad model of Henry. I actually really like it. So yeah, in terms of rating this model, I think I rate this model 6 out of 10. Pretty good, 6.5. It's a pretty good model. It's a good toy. I think kids will be satisfied with it, as long as they know who your character is, because apparently kids don't like Henry anymore. But yeah, I actually think that this is not a bad model or toy. I think kids would like it. Cheap. I got this for about $7. Not that expensive, and that's for the longer engines. The tank engines are only like $3, but yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, personally, I think I prefer the Adventures just because of their wheelbases, but if you had to go with these, this isn't a bad model, and I do suggest getting Henry. He's pretty good. So yeah, either way, thank you for watching, everybody. That was my review of the Thomas Push-Along Henry, and thank you all for watching. Like, follow, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and see you all next time.